So last year I showed you how to make angel biscuits, and these are wonderful, but you can also use the dough to make other things. When you make the recipe, you will have a lot left over, and you can use it throughout the week to make maybe cinnamon rolls or this little breakfast pizza here that I've been making lately. And so it's really good. So some of the ingredients I'm going to use from the garden include arugula. Now this arugula is a little bit more mature than I usually prefer, but it'll be fine. And I'm also going to get some fresh spinach. I showed you how to grow spinach, so hopefully you have seen that video. It's real easy to grow. Okay, so angel biscuit and gravy breakfast pizza, that's what I'm calling this. You're welcome to jot the ingredients down. They will be below the video as well if you'd like to print them out. You can also do a screenshot on your mobile device. So I'm just going to remove the stems from the arugula and the spinach, and we'll just give it a rough chop. And I want to slice my shallots. I'm not slicing them too thin. I still want to have a little bit of a bite to the shallots, so they're not too thin. And I'm going to grate the Parmesan cheese. I need about 1/3 cup. So I went ahead and I preheated the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit while I began to fry my bacon. I'm also going to go ahead and spray my cookie sheet with a little bit of cooking oil so that my bread can crisp up. Okay, so I'm going to call this bread, okay, not crust. All right, so let's go ahead and get the angel biscuit dough out here. I've had it in the refrigerator, wrapped in a plastic bag to keep it from drying out. If it dries out, it won't be good to use. So keep that in mind. You've got to really kind of double bag it, okay, and get the air out. And I usually will use it within about 4 days after I make it, okay? So I'm just going to roll this out, not in any kind of shape at all. I'm just going to let the dough kind of do its thing. Wherever it wants to go, it can go. And I floured my surface a little bit too to keep it from sticking. So we are just going to roll this out pretty thin. Now you can use just a pizza crust dough too, and you make this for dinner, so you don't have to use angel biscuit dough. We'll give it a little bit of an edge there because we're going to put sauce on it. Now my pan is warm and my bacon appears to be ready, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that and let it drain on a paper towel. I went ahead and put my dough right there on the cookie sheet, and I popped it in the oven to let it start to cook a little bit. I want to let it cook for about 5 minutes so that it starts to rise a little bit. So I reserved my bacon drippings. I cleaned out my pan, and I'm just going to go ahead and cook these shallots. I gave them a little bit of salt there, and I want to cook the shallots in about a tablespoon of the bacon grease. So my bread, I pulled it out and sprayed it a little bit more on top, and I put it back into the oven and let it cook for about 10 more minutes. 10 to 12 more minutes until it was looking pretty crispy there and had a little bit of color going on the bottom. We're not done with the bread yet. So now I will reserve my shallots here on the side, and I want to go ahead and get the sauce going. So let's go ahead and melt a tablespoon of butter in the pan, and we'll add 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour along with a good pinch of salt, and we want to go ahead and cook this on medium heat for about 1 to 2 minutes. And now I'll go ahead and grate in 1 clove of garlic. I want to go ahead and cook this until it starts to smell fragrant, so that'll give me about a minute, and then I can begin to add my milk slowly. So we can call this our gravy part of the biscuit and gravy pizza, okay? Actually, it's more of a white sauce, but I'm going to call it gravy because it's the southerner in me. All right, so let's go ahead and keep whisking this until all the lumps are gone. I went ahead and put my bread back into the oven, and now I'm just thickening up the sauce, adding some fresh ground pepper. I just want to go ahead and get my bread warm because the sauce is almost ready, and it will be better if the bread is nice and warm when I put the sauce on it, okay? So now let's go ahead and add our spinach leaves, and we'll let those wilt down pretty good. You don't have to cook them much, just let them wilt. And we'll add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the fresh grated Parmesan cheese. And now I pulled the bread out of the oven. It was browned up pretty nice and crisp. So now let's put our sauce or our gravy right on top of our biscuit, and we'll top it with the shallots and place the bacon pieces on there as well. And now back into the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes until all of your toppings are warm and bubbly. It should be nice and warm, and I have a warped pan. And now remove it to my cutting board where I want to finish it with the rest of the cheese. I only put about half in the sauce, and now the rest of it's going to go on top so it can melt down there. And now we'll just finish it there with the arugula, and we can dig in. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up and show you guys how wonderful it is. The flavors are just perfect, and there's really not a lot of ingredients in this pizza. Like I said, you can use regular pizza crust. It is great that way. We've eaten it for dinner with just regular pizza crust. So give it a try. Let me know how you like it. And also, if you enjoyed the video, head down there and give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. And feel free also to share it on your favorite social media. Right now I'm only on Google Plus and YouTube. So when you're sharing my videos on your Facebook or other social media platforms, it helps me. Thanks so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.